What is up, wrestling fans? Tony Mango here, welcoming you to another edition of the Internet Wrestling Community Outreach, which is part of the Smark Out Moment Smack Talk podcast for the week, and we're going to be starting things off the way that we normally do here with the Smark My Words fan-submitted comment of the week, and this time around it goes once again to Ben Guest. He's been doing a lot of good things recently, and out of all the things from YouTube, Twitter, the Facebook group, the Mega Maniacs, anything that we have that you guys can end up leaving your comments on and stuff, the thing that made me laugh the most was a comment on YouTube that he put when we were talking about Sabu and his whole thing with being against the WWE Hall of Fame, saying that it's fake and that it's only for Vince's people and all that stuff. Ben Guest's comment is, I hear Sabu's full quote was, the WWE Hall of Fame is fake and gay, which if you don't know is a reference to the fact that Wago in particular loves to do what a lot of people do when it comes to wrestling, where they go, oh, wrestling's just fake and gay. So that's one of his go-to things, to just kind of be like, oh, wrestling's fake and gay. Like, he just kind of says it the way that everybody else does and stuff like that. And Ben Guest throwing a reference to that out there, that made me laugh because I haven't heard that in quite a little bit of while. So thank you to Ben Guest. Thank you for winning. You get a couple more of 0 points to go into your duffel bag, or however you're storing all this nothing that you people win with the Smark My Words. And as I mentioned before, if you have not participated in the Smark My Words before, it's pretty simple. All you have to do is leave a comment on any of the avenues that we have, the YouTube, the Twitter, the Facebook group. You're going to find that at facebook.com/groups/the Mega Maniacs, and that's where we do our live chats for Monday Night Raw, 205 Live, SmackDown, all the pay-per-views, and as well, we do other things throughout the week, just some funny images, some news reports, try to get people's opinions to keep the discussion going, whatever the case may be. That's where you're going to find that all, so make sure you sign up for that. Start sending in your questions for the February mailbag special. February. I hate that word. It's so fucking dumb, that R. Ugh. As that is going to be happening sometime soon in February. So you can do so by tweeting at SmarkOutMoment with the hashtag mailbag, or better yet, leaving an email through the contact form of the website. And whether it's a wrestling-related thing or something completely unrelated to wrestling, if you want to pick our brains about it, you send in the question. More than likely, we're going to answer it. We only don't answer questions if we've answered them a million times before, or if somebody doesn't want to give out like some information or whatever the case may be like that. But most often, 90% of them, 99% of them, we end up doing. So go ahead and ask, and ye shall receive. If you're looking to help support the growth of Smark Out Moment in the future in some way, there's a couple different things that you should be aware of. For monetary donations, you can hit up the PayPal donation button at the bottom of smarkoutmoment.com, the Patreon account, or the YouTube fan funding module on the right-hand side. You can also buy t-shirts, mugs, laptop covers, cell phone cases, and a whole bunch of other different merchandise at our Redbubble and our TeePublic shops. And if you are into the video game and movie and references and all that other kind of stuff like that, check out the Fanboys Anonymous TeePublic shop. And I also have one for A Mango Tees. So those are all things that can funnel in some money to future projects and current ones, kind of like filling up our gas tank, essentially. So all that stuff, greatly appreciated, everybody. You can also help spread the word about the website in a couple of different ways if you don't have anything to give and you want to try to convince other people to be able to hit us up with like the ads and the money that we get with that kind of stuff. The more people that show up to the website and the YouTube channel, that's how we make our money. So one of those things is more on the fun side of things, which is the Sign Me Up initiative. All you got to do for that is take a sign that says Smark Out Moment to a wrestling show and send me a picture of yourself holding it up. Doesn't really do too much in the grand scheme of things, but it's a way to get out there. It's a way to show solidarity, that kind of a thing. Most importantly of all, though, is to help us grow our social media accounts. And you can do that by liking and sharing our posts on Facebook, retweeting and following us on Twitter, giving the YouTube videos a thumbs up, leaving comments on them to help keep the discussion going and people coming back. Obviously, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, do that and hit that little bell notification icon. Share the website's articles and anything else that you want to share with is related to the whole Smark Out Moment brand and all that. Like, even if you want to share some t-shirt designs and stuff like that, post them on Reddit, post them on message boards, whatever the case may be. All that kind of stuff is awesome. So if you guys take part in any of that, know that from the bottom of my heart, it is so, so appreciated. You guys are all awesome for doing it. And the same applies to Fanboys Anonymous, because that's another website of mine. If one does well, then the other one's going to do well, that kind of a thing. That's the spot where I do movie reviews and other things like that. So if you're interested in comic books and superheroes and video games and whatever, it's mostly movies, but I kind of dabble here and there on a couple of the other things. But that stuff is all there. Geek out with me on fanboysanonymous.com. Follow the Facebook and Twitter accounts. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit up the iTunes and Stitcher feeds, whatever that kind of stuff is. All that stuff that you would do with Smark Out Moment, do the same thing for Fanboys Anonymous. And that brings us to the major topic of the video, the wrestling trivia question of the week, otherwise known as the Ask Him. Last week's Ask Him was about the two wrestlers who have won the Royal Rumble in San Antonio, Texas. And the answers for that were Steve Austin in 1997. Go back and check out that Smark Announce table if you haven't already, because we did do that for that specific pay-per-view. And the other one was in 2007, the Undertaker won. That was not in the Alamo Dome, though. That was the AT&T Center, I think, if I remember correctly. So those two actually won the Royal Rumble for that. And Bobby Lesnar G86 gets those correct. Christopher Marin says Stephen James Anderson and Mark William Calloway. Yes, indeed. Declan says, I know Steve Austin definitely won in San Antonio, and someone else said Undertaker, so I'm going to say Undertaker and Austin. Also, I think Kalen got his sign taken off of him because he'd be chanting Chris Benoit for the entire show. I sincerely hope you weren't doing that, Kalen. Goddamn, man. Dominator 39R says the Ringmaster and Mean Mark Calloway. William Carey says Chili McFreeze and the Gobbledygooker. Man, Chili McFreeze, I don't know why, that just immediately made me think of the Frosty from Wendy's, and now I want one of them so bad. But even worse, now I'm thinking of Mr. Freeze from Batman and Robin, and I don't want to watch that movie. So I want to eat a Frosty, and I don't want to watch the Well, you know what, I do too. What the fuck, why not? All those ice puns. You know I would love my ice puns. Chill out. Cool. That kind of shit. Maybe we'll do a fan tracks for that in the future. If you guys want to see a fan tracks of Batman and Robin, let me know. Maybe I'll try to fast track that. I know we're going to be doing a fan tracks for the Power Rangers movie, so if you guys are Power Rangers fans, that's going to be coming sometime at the end of February or sometime in March. I haven't quite figured it out yet. Maybe we're going to do Wolverine one too. I don't know. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here with Fanboys Anonymous stuff. We're on Smark Out Moment now. Silent Doom's the last person here on this list I got to break down. He says, I know one of those from the Smark Announce table. See, he listened. And I really want to Tony answer you and say that it was Stone Cold and Bret Hart because you said winners, but you did specify winners of those Royal Rumbles, so I can't. Haha, I'm anti-Tony answering the Tony questions. That's what's happening. Yeah. Eventually, Tony questions are going to be completely different things. I don't know. He says I'm going to guess Stone Cold and HBK since it's his hometown. Nope, HBK not successful, but he was a runner-up that year. Yeah, my two favorites of all time in 2007 at the end there. He also had some people on the Fuck That Guy Club, some standards, Lanny Poffo, David Otunga, fuck the guy who took Ferris's sign, or at least whoever told the innocent security guy to do it. Yeah, you know, because the security guy probably doesn't have much of a problem against it. He doesn't even know what the fuck it means. But the person that was like, hey, we can't have that sign, that's not offensive in the slightest bit. Fuck that guy. He also throws in some mailbag questions. I'm going to backlog those, and we're going to get to that when we get to that 2-3 weeks from now. Not quite positive yet. But let's get into this week's question. This one is going to be about the Royal Rumble as well. The winner this time around was Randy Orton, and he won from the number 23 entry spot. So the question for you guys, who was the other Royal Rumble winner to win from the number 23 entry spot? Somebody else did it in the past. Not going to tell you when. Not going to tell you who, because then that would be the answer to it. But that's what your job is. Leave your guesses in the comments below. Next week, I'll tell you the answer, because that is my job next week when it comes to that kind of stuff. I'm in a weird mood right now, and I have to do this Sporkle quiz in a minute. So this might carry over into that. I don't know. It's late enough that I'm a little bit tired, and maybe that'll fuck me up. Now I'm rambling. Anyway, that's it for this week's edition of the IWC Outreach. I want to thank you all for listening, and I want to remind you that those things are coming up a little bit later on this week, so if you stay tuned to the YouTube channel by subscribing and following us on Facebook and Twitter and the website itself, then you'll get notifications and everything when those things are posted, because I'm not sure when they're going to be going up, and if I did know, I'd tell you. But that's what those things are for. Facebook tells you when it's up, Twitter tells you when it's up, the little bell notification tells you, and the website obviously has that stuff. I'm really rambling a lot on this episode, aren't I? Yeah, I am. I'm going to kill this while I can. So this has been another Smark Out moment, and I am being counted out.
Bye.